It's the first day of school. Time to pretend you didn't just Google how to make friends fast at 2 a.m. Whether you're a freshman trying not to get lost or a senior pretending you still care, like me, I've got tips that'll help you survive the chaos and maybe even enjoy it just a little bit. Welcome back to another episode of Darius College Steps to Success. And today I will be talking about tips, strategies, advice, and things that I used or things I should have used on my very first day of my college career. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn or some chips, cookies, a soda, and stay hydrated. Especially go ahead, drink that water. So the first thing you should do is prepare the night before. You should lay out your outfit, pack your backpack, and prep maybe a lunch or snacks. On my first day of school, I did nothing of the sort. I mean, I live on campus, so I was able to get like lunch in between, but laying on my outfit, I did not do. Packing my backpack, I did not do. And so I thought I was going to have enough time in the morning to do stuff because, again, I'm still thinking that it's a little bit different than high school where I don't got to be up as early, like 6 a.m. So I'm like, oh, I can just get up at 8, class starts at 9. But realistically, when I'm like, oh, I can just get up at 8, 8 turns into 8:15, 8:15 turns into 8:20, so on and so forth. So I'm like, all right, now it's time to finally get up and rush to class. So I did not properly prepare the night before. I honestly was like confused on where I was going, where my classes are. So that's another thing. You need to look at your schedule to make sure where you're going. And so that's very, very helpful. So again, lay out your outfit, pack your backpack. This kind of helps reduce stress in the morning and avoid forgetting things. So again, like you get up in the morning and you're like, I said I was going to do this last night, and you might forget it. You might forget that favorite pen that you were supposed to pack, or that notebook, or the highlighters, or anything that you said, hey, I'm gonna wait till the morning to pack. So prepare the night before. Next is you need to get to school early. I lived on campus, and so I didn't need to like drive or commute or account for traffic. So, but for those of you that do commute or are commuting this next year coming up, try to leave early because everybody's going to be leaving all throughout the day. Try to account for that middle of the day traffic or that morning traffic or that evening, wherever you're going to classes at. So, but arriving early gives you time to find your classes and really settle in. This is also a great chance to introduce yourself to classmates or like the professor without feeling rushed. Something I would always do is either at the beginning of the class or at the end of the class, just kind of meet the professor. Hey, I'm so and so, Darius Lewis. I'm here to get this grade in your class, and like I'll be here to get help if I need it. Kind of stuff like that. Just like those small introductions really go a long way. Just because you never know in the future, you might be on the borderline of an A minus or B plus kind of, or a C plus in that area, and that little like greeting can go a long way. So another thing is like kind of making friends in class. I never went out and be like, hey, I'm so and so. Like the professors kind of always had icebreakers, and it kind of flowed into like meeting people in the classes. And so more than likely, you're always, most of the time, you'll have some project due with a group, depending on your major, with a couple people or a partner. And so it's really good to try to just introduce yourself early in the year or on that first week, just so, hey, remember, like, we got a project due, you want to team up? Kind of that. It kind of helps open the doors so you're not rushing around and you don't have somebody to work with. Also with getting to school early, I don't know, depending on what school you go to, they might have an app. Indiana University has an app where you're able to find your classes called IU Mobile, and that helped me out a bunch. Even though I took a tour of the school, I did not remember any of the buildings I was going to. I did not remember any of the names, and so I opened that like map, the digital map on my phone, and it literally guides you to your building, and like you already got the number on where the room is, so you just need to find the building just in case you forgot where it was. So that really helped me a lot. So on my first day of school, I was looking at that and I was like, okay, oh, like, this building, you sure? Guided me right to it. I was like, okay, say less. This thing actually legit. um Also, just next is like bringing a positive attitude. First day of school can be scary. Yeah, it was very nerve wracking. I was nervous on my very first day of school because I'm living away from home, and so it was a very different experience than just kind of commuting. I lived on campus. I'm living on campus. I've lived here all my 4 years, and so kind of bringing a positive attitude kind of helps with that and opening the doors to meeting new people. First impressions matter, especially with like your professors and your peers. That kind of determines if like you're gonna work well with somebody or if you're gonna like the class or whatnot. Another thing that I did not do is kind of like writing down the schedule. The mobile app has like your schedule on it, but I had to kind of keep reopening it every time to be like, all right, where's the next class I'm going to, which helps a lot. But just kind of having it written down, maybe a notes app on your phone, or maybe a small like notebook that you still carry around. I don't know, people still use pen and paper like that, but that kind of really helps with guiding you where you want to go. If you want to write it down in a notebook with a pen or a pencil, or an iPad, or a or in your notes app, like I said, just kind of having your schedule down. Because yes, IU has that mobile app, but I don't know again if every school has that. So kind of having your schedule already just written down, because it's your same schedule, your same class schedule for the whole semester. So if you forget in the first like week, like where am I going again, you'll be able to find it quick and easy. So um next is don't be afraid to ask questions. If you're lost or confused, I was lost and confused quite a bit on my first week, even though again I said I had a tour, but was I really paying attention? My brother took me around the campus because he had been here. I was paying attention, but I wasn't paying attention. And so, if you're lost or confused, ask someone. Most people are happy to help. Professors appreciate students who take initiative early. That's one thing I've kind of learned is always ask for help. They always, teachers in my high school or teachers in general in high school always be like, well, this ain't gonna fly in college. Shoot, it honestly soared. Like it like I soared over the clouds. Like, you know what I mean? So always asking for help because they're happy to help. You're paying for your education. They want you to succeed into what you have to do and where you want to go. So if you need an extension, if you need help on something, come to their office hours. You got to show that you're trying for them to be able to help you. So don't be afraid to ask questions, because most, if not all, professors really understand that, hey, like the professors, like I've been in this position before too, where I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to do an assignment. I didn't know how to cite sources. I didn't know how to do XYZ, ABC, stuff like that. So professors have been in your shoes before. They are human. So yes, they are your professors. They're an expert in their field, what they're teaching you, but they're also there to help and kind of guide you. So, um, number 6 is introduce yourself to someone else. I did not introduce myself to really anybody new besides that I had to. That was in my scholars programs where I made friends. They did icebreakers in there, and then my roommate, I had to be introduced to him, so we had to talk. But I think my first year, I didn't really like have a consistent like friend group or friends to be around. It was kind of inconsistent, which is okay. Like sometimes you'll be able to find consistent friends your first day, and you'll be able to make friends like that whole year. But it was kind of off and on. I had friends that were there, and then they came and went just because like our schedules were just different. That's just kind of how college is. People start getting involved, people start getting more active, and so that really helps. So kind of introducing yourself in maybe even in classes, just because um texting that person or making a group chat with a group of people, be like, hey, did you do this homework assignment? Or yeah, I'll give you this, and I did this one from last week that you're missing. Kind of like that. Collaboration is a big thing in college, because I've had friends especially remind me just by texting me, hey, did you do this assignment? Or hey, am I doing this right? Or let's ask the professor together. So, especially in the classes, I have plenty of friends that have saved me. They don't know, but I'm just chilling. I think one time I had an assignment and I had a friend. She said this project was due at the end of the semester. It took her like 3.5 hours. I'm sitting there, it's due that night. I look left, I look right, and she sends me like a video on Snapchat, like showing me the work that all the work she had to do. It was like 6 that day, and it was due at 11:59. So you know what I had to do? I had to drop everything what I was doing. I had incorporated a 30-minute dinner break so I can eat and have fuel, but it took me about 4.5 hours because I still had to read the instructions. I still had to read the directions. And so she saved me just by saying, like, hey, this thing took 3.5 hours to do. And I'm sitting up there chilling, like, oh, I thought this was like an hour assignment or something like that. So she saved me. I turned it in that night, proofread and everything, somewhere around 11. I like I said, I took a 30 minute to an hour lunch break or dinner break to be able to get that in there on time. If I had taken a longer break, then I wouldn't have gotten in on time. So people like that, they don't know that they saving you, but there's people out there that just be like, hey, did you do this assignment? Because this took this amount of hours. And I'm sitting at my desk like, I haven't even looked at the directions. So that goes back to, again, introducing yourself to someone new. Just like compliment, hey, I like your backpack, or hey, I like your shirt, or hey, I like your hat. Something physical, like something that they're wearing or something that you're interested in that could jump into a larger conversation about about like what they like. So next is kind of like staying organized from day one. So you really want to stay organized on your first day, just kind of having everything where you want to go. You want to have different notebooks, you want to have different folders or binders. I don't know, people still use like binders to carry around, but like I said, different notebooks, different folders, kind of differentiating your assignments, your classes. You don't want to put everything. I'm sure this is probably self-explanatory why you shouldn't have multiple subjects in one notebook, but some people do it anyway, and I did it. I am there. I was doing it because I was like, all right, I forgot my notebook back in my apartment. So let me flip to the back and let me copy the notes later. Did I copy the notes later? No, I did not copy the notes later. So you just making sure you have those different binders at every time, at every class, because you don't know where you're going to need to write down something, because having multiple subjects in different notebooks, binders, everything is just really confusing, and you might get stuff mixed up and jumbled up together. This is again, like another thing is just kind of being yourself. Being yourself is very important. You don't have to try to fit in. I'm sure most of us are well past. If you're in college, you'll realize that nobody cares. Quite honestly, nobody cares what you wear. Nobody cares what you do. Honestly, like you can be in the class, and that's one thing I was learning when I was doing like group projects, group presentations, and stuff like that. That everybody's gonna have to get up here. Everybody is going to have to do what I have to do. So whether I record a video, send it by a professor, and he plays it for my project, or I get up there and do it live, it doesn't matter. Everybody has to get up there at one point to do so. So, kind of just being yourself. You won't learn that. You may just pick that up on the first day. Like, I don't care what people think. I don't care what I'm wearing, stuff like that. I was like that. Most of my days, if not all, I wore jogger, hoodies, or a sweater, some slides. I had a very chill vibe going on for basically most of college, just because like this is a small part in the greater step, in the greater accomplishment. So what you wear does not matter. if that makes sense. What you think you look good, you feel good, and that might be a good way to look at it yourself too. But if you can go to school and perform the same way in a hoodie and a sweatshirt and be comfortable, then whether going up and wearing slacks and a collared shirt, then I would say take the hoodie, take the joggers, take the slides, and do that because that's definitely something I did. Um, Another thing is you should kind of set a goal for the day. I didn't do that. I was just like, I'm just trying to survive, quite honestly. So kind of set a goal that maybe, hey, I want to meet a friend, or maybe I want to introduce myself to one of my professors, one out of three I have today, or um, I want to not use navigation to get to my classes, or something like that. Just kind of setting a goal, just so you are mentally aware of what you came here to do. It's the first day of college. It's the first day of school. So kind of setting a mental goal about something you want to accomplish on your first day of school, because not a lot of people make it past the first day of school. Not a lot of people make it past the first week, month, semester, 2 semesters. And so kind of keeping that mental mindset strong about maybe a goal you want to have for that day or maybe for that week, just so you are keeping up and holding yourself accountable. So accountability is a big word that you kind of need in college, because nobody is going to be up here waking you up to be able to like get up for school, get up for classes, making you breakfast. If your parents made you breakfast back at home or whoever it did, or waking you up, that stops. That stops on your first day of school. If you, maybe not, but especially like if you live on campus like me, that stops. I had to set my alarms, I had to get into the groove that this is for me, and I got to do this for where I want to be in 4 years. And so 4 years later, about to walk the stage. So you kind of have to keep that accountability about yourself, kind of setting weekly goals or monthly goals or something, just to make sure that you are still right on track. And then after the day's over, just think about, just sit in your room, or journal. If you're a journal person, kind of do that. I journal from time to time. I haven't recently because it's been really busy, but kind of journaling what went well, what surprised you. Use that reflection to make day two even better, kind of prepping for day two, because your first day is going to look different from your second day. You're not, most of the time you don't have the same exact schedule 2 days in a row, just because your classes are mainly every other day. So when you get to college, your classes are mainly every other day. I will have Monday, Wednesday classes mainly, and Tuesday, Thursday classes, or maybe once a week on Wednesdays. So 2 days in a row. I don't think I've heard of classes being 2 days in a row. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, if you do have a class 2 days in a row. But more likely than not, you will not have a class 2 days in a row. So that'll give you time to reflect, kind of think about the future, kind of think about how you should be able to get the classes better and quicker. Like I said, find out if the school has whatever school you're at, if they have a app that kind of gives you access to like you could just, the app just gives you access to, it's called one.iu here on our campus, and that gives you access to your grades, your directions to get to campus. It gives you like how you can contact the technology people if you're having problems with the Wi-Fi, all the other stuff. So think of whatever college you are at, think of, ask somebody if they have an app that kind of has all that information in it, just because it is so helpful for first day, for people coming to school for the first day or coming to school for the first week and trying to find their way around. I haven't used it. I haven't need to use it in a while, just because I have everything up here by now, because that's how it should be. After a certain amount of time, you should be able to just get up and go to class and without looking at the app. But it's also very, again, useful if you want to check your transcript grades, if you need technology help, if you want to check your bursar bill, which is your bill where they bill you um for like housing, for like food, for other stuff around campus. You can check that on there. The app has a lot of stuff on there. So whether you are at Indiana University or a different college, see if they have the app, because I'm telling you all, that was the most useful thing on my first week, my first month of school. I'm gonna just say my first year, because it really helped me out, because I had that second semester, I had classes in other parts of the building, other parts of campus. I had no idea where they were. So look into that. Thanks for listening, y'all, to another episode of Darius College Steps to Success. This was about the first day of school because we are approaching the last day of school here real soon. So people are busy getting prepping for the last day of school, like me for graduation, baby. So we are finishing up real strong. And then, so I'm giving tips for people that are looking to start their first day of school in the fall. So thanks for listening. I hope you finished your soda, your popcorn, some water, or whatever you had to snack on. Or maybe you're just driving to or from work and you're listening. But thanks for tuning in. I'll catch y'all another week. Peace.